What it do, what it does, the energy just feels right on this Friday, and we're about to do something absolutely interesting right here at Kenya's Gold. Now, one thing is for certain, that information is power. For you to thrive in anything that you're doing, you need to be well informed. Now, from talking to a lot of young people across the country, one of the complaints they have raised is the fact that they do not get enough information when it comes to how they can thrive in agribusiness and sustainability. Yes, you could have studied agriculture in high school, in primary school, or even in campus, but there are a lot of practical lessons that you also need to learn for you to thrive in this space. And today we are going to be talking to an organization in Kenya that is standing in between the gap and forming their own version of universities where they're teaching young people when it comes to all matters sustainability and agribusiness. Come along with me, let us meet our experts of the day and also have a look at how these classes look like. Come, let's do this. Hello, Eric. Hi, how are you? We are here to learn a lot more about this version of universities that you have created. Please talk to us about what we call them and also why this kind of classes.
Yeah, so this is the Aquaculture Academy. This is just one of our campuses. We have a campus in Homa Bay County, Juliet Fish Farm. We have a mobile unit that trains on demand. We have a van that does that. We also do the same in Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania in different sites.
All right. Now, you've mentioned something very interesting, that besides the classrooms, we also do have a mobile unit van that also offers trainings to farmers across the country. Please create for us a picture of how that works.
A typical farmer on the ground does not have some equipment. And like you said, information is power. They need the training. So what we've done with the van is we've equipped it. It has all test kits that you need. We have a projector that we can actually use to illustrate. So the van, actually 30% of it is what's used to carry us. The rest is carrying equipment that we use in training farmers. So if farmers need to be trained in Kilifi, we get on the van. We go to their location, we train them as a group.
Are we able to afford these services?
Yeah, we've designed it such that it's affordable because we can't take a whole van from Nairobi to go train one farmer.
Right.
So this we've actually designed for a group of farmers. If you've seen our classroom here, we can contain a limited number of farmers or trainees in general. But if you go on the ground, then there's no limit. We could have 200 people, 150 people. So with that crowd, having many people, it becomes affordable.
Now, you know what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And we'd like to know from you, what is that need that you noticed in the market that you decided to fulfill with this training institution?
Yeah, so we've been involved in the sector for over a decade now. And this has been a journey where there's been a lot of evolution in terms of the needs of the value chain. So at first it was about inputs, and here we looked at availability, affordability, and access. And there's been the issue of technology. How could we have technologies that would help farmers grow and become more efficient? But then we took a step back because we were not seeing the kind of impact we expected having looked at these nodes of the value chain. We realized without the right skills, giving a smallholder farmer, for example, inputs, you'd still be wasting the input because at the farm level, you need to increase the efficiency. So that's when we decided, why don't we upskill these farmers? Why don't we upskill the people who are interested, so potential investors? And then there's the known gap between what we learn in school and what's actually required in the field. So we realized so many graduates were leaving school and they get involved in other things because what they have is not what the job market needs. So to bridge this gap, we committed that we would actually train them on the practical skills that are needed in the field. So as you said, necessity is the mother of invention.
Right. Now talk to us about how well equipped our schools are, and here we are talking at a curriculum basis because you know agriculture is being offered at the CBC level, we also have it at the high school level and even at the campus level. What they're learning there, is it preparing them enough for what the reality is on the ground, or there's need to beef it up?
I think the general consensus is kwa ground vitu ni different. When you leave school, you realize that there's that extra set of skills that you need for you to thrive and not just survive in the job market, especially with agriculture, because our institutions are designed in a way that they may not have enough, infrastructure to properly train people on practical skills. Now, what we're doing, we're not substituting that. We appreciate the role that that plays in an individual. You need the theory, you need the basics. But then when you come to the field, there's the element of practicals that we need to inject. So we're actually complementing what people learn in schools. And of course, the system has to do better in terms of equipping young people with better practical skills. But then that is the opportunity that we've seen and that we've seized. And so far, we are very, very happy with the progress we're seeing and the growth in young people and everyone else in the agriculture sector.
So create for us a picture of how the class sessions work. Unajua tumezoea ile ya shule, unakuja term moja, then we have breaks. Is that the same thing here? And also the age of the students that you have here, they range from what to what?
So the typical classroom is normally brick and mortar. That's really not our model. To fully describe the classroom in the aquaculture academy context, you need to fuse practicals and theory. So before you add practicals to the theory we teach you, the classroom is not complete, because then we miss our purpose. But then to answer your question more directly, it's not continuous as it is in school and you have a holiday. It's on a needs basis. We have groups of potential investors, groups of farmers, or groups of students who need to be trained at specific times of the year. And based on their needs, we take them to a specific campus. So to even fully have our ideal classroom, these campuses are on farms where it's done commercially and it's we are able to train them on a practical level.
Now, one of the major concerns that we're facing in the space of agriculture is the fact that the average age of a Kenyan farmer is above 50 years, and that's not very good if you're looking at our future in this agricultural sector. But as of now, with all the work that you're putting in to make sure that the young people are getting excited about matters agriculture, are the demographics changing? Are we seeing more young people showing up for these training sessions, or what are those ages like?
Yeah, so the demographic is very, very interesting, Ngina, because, our average or age as a country is still very young, which is good because our future is bright. But then if you look at the agriculture sector in general, the typical farmer is relatively old. So before we help the young people, there's need to be a mindset shift, even with the older generation. So there's an obvious bias. We want to directly target young people and upskill them, but then we are not forgetting the role that our parents, for example, play in infusing us into agriculture. So for the older generation, we want to ensure that they appreciate why we need professionals. For the young people, we want to ensure they have the skills and to some extent make agriculture cool. It is working, and we are very happy with the progress because we've worked with the specific farms, specific professionals. We've seen growth, just seeing how much a farmer produces in comparison to before we trained them. That's why we sleep at night, because it makes you so happy.
Is the demography the same as those other countries where you've set up these training centers as well?
So the typical value chain in the agriculture context, and even if I was to be more specific in aquaculture, it's almost identical in different countries. But then different countries are at different levels of development. And the level of development determines the need of the value chain. So for example, what we focus on training in Kenya, for example, is not what we focus on training in Uganda, because maybe these people have different needs. But then the value chain is almost identical. So as it is right now, we train more in Kenya because we are at a slightly higher level when it comes to aquaculture, for example. But then when we go to Rwanda, for example, the focus is on ensuring that the value chain works before you even try to become more sophisticated, because it's relatively young compared to Kenya or Uganda or Tanzania, for example. So legislation also varies across the different countries. So these are things we have to consider.
Now that you're not just based right here in Kenya, what are some of the lessons that you have picked from other African countries that you feel we can also try and adapt right here at home? And also, what are you picking from back at home and trying to implement in other African countries?
Yeah, the key lesson is when you go to any new environment is what is currently working for them and what is it that you want to, what change do you want to bring and how do you bring it. So, for example, there are cultural differences that we have to deal with. There's the language barrier. For example, a training in Rwanda, you need a translator. And in that case, you have to learn, you have to adapt. So these are the key lessons that we've learned, that what works in Kenya may work in Rwanda, Uganda, or Tanzania, but you need to adapt for you to be effective and efficient.
So when I come here and I sign up for a course, how long does it take me before now I'm ready to be out there in the job market, in the agricultural space, implementing Vitu kwa ground?
We have different groups of trainees. We have a basic course, for example, that goes for 3 days. This we give to a farmer who already knows what they're doing. We just need to touch on a few nodes to ensure that the business improves. We have an advanced course. This goes for around 5 days. Here we are trying to be more intentional and we target managers, for example, because you don't just need the technical skills, you need the people skills, you need business skills. We have a potential investor who will just come for a basic course because they need to understand the level of investment and the kind of returns that they'll get. So we have a basic course, we have advanced, and then we have the mobile unit, of course, that's often 1 to 2 days. We call it Dip Your Toes. We go to the farm and within 2 days, we've trained you on very specific topics. Yeah.
Thank you so very much, John Eric, for speaking to us and being so generous with your time. And keep up the good job that you're doing for the young people through this training center.
Thank you.
All right, there you had it. We came all the way to Machakos to learn so much about this training center that is offering a lot of necessary skills to the young people. Remember, at the end of the day, information is power. So you as a young person, usiteseke peke yako. We do have institutions like this one that are very much willing to make sure that they are equipping you with the right skills that you need when it comes to agribusiness. And thank you so very much for watching, but please do keep it Kenya's Gold.
Kipindi cha Kenya's Gold kinapewa udhamini mkubwa kabisa na benki ya Cooperative, na bila shaka kuna mikopo mbali katika benki hiyo. Kwako ni kwenda kujitwika jukumu la kuchukua na kufuatilia ili upate nafasi ya kusaidika kule. Tuangalie mkopo wa kwanza, kuna asset financing. Huu ni mkopo ambao wewe mkulima unahitajika kwenda kuchukua ama ukihitaji kuchukua kwa ajili ya kupata kama gari katika shamba lako au mashine za kutumia, hasa wakati tunafanya kile tunaita value addition. Basi chukua nafasi